The Masters this weekend was spectacular, AJ. I assume you watched it, as did I.
Yeah, I think everybody had to be. I mean, even if you're not a golf fan, you kind of had to be captivated by this whole situation. I'm sitting there watching, like you said, I had all my kids rounded around. They're sitting there and we're watching, and they just didn't understand, I guess, the magnitude of every single putt. They'd see like a 3-foot putt. Like, what do you mean that's easy putt? Anyone can make that. And I'm saying, this is not. Guys, you guys do not understand golf like people do. This place is Augusta. That looks like there was glass. Like every single green seemed like, how do you ever hold a ball? How does anything ever stop? And I feel like, Todd, what did you think when Rory hit that ball? What was it where he hit the ball that they called it like an egregious mistake, I guess, when he hit it in the water? When on a short little chip shot on the back nine, he hits in the water and people think this is the one thing you can't do. And somehow Rory finds a way.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone just thought, like, here we go again. You know, like that. A lot of people really like Rory, but it's also kind of, I don't want to say it's fun to watch someone who clearly like has issues at Augusta.
I haven't spoken into the mic in program.
But like it just, I mean, I think you just assumed like, here we go again. He's gonna, like, he had such a massive lead, thought he was just gonna, you know, kind of wither away. A couple other people behind him were starting to come on hot, and then it was just like, I don't know, it was crazy. He hit some of the maybe the worst shots of his career down the
this
stretch.
right here is an all-time shot I've ever seen.
Yeah, followed by maybe like the 4 best shots of his career. So yeah, I mean, it was an incredible weekend all around.
Conman, when you watch Rory, do you have any vested interest when you watch any kind of golf? Conman, I think, Pat, we finally got you back in here. As we watched this shot on 15th that Rory hit, I think captivated everyone. Pat, this thing was unbelievable.
Absolutely. I have no idea if you can hear me at all.
Yeah.
We're picking you up in the background.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 100% on me. Okay, so 13th, whenever he goes in the water, all hell breaks up loose. Oh my God, here's Rory McIlroy doing Rory McIlroy again. Anybody that's followed golf for, you know, an extended period of time since Rory has kind of come into this entire thing, we saw him come in to the golf world incredibly hot. Holy hell, this is the new guy. He had sweet hair. You know, he was in a relationship. He breaks up, gets out of his relationship, becomes single, goes on to become the #1 golfer in the world. This is going to be the next guy. Then a drought came. Oh my God, this guy can't win it, including one at the Masters over a decade ago. We're on the 10th tee. He had the lead, and he shanked it so bad into a house directly to the left that whenever you tee off there, even if it's not during the tournament, they go, you can't hit it worse than Rory hit it here whenever he was going to win the Masters. And everybody just thought Rory was maybe going to crumble. There's no way Rory's going to be able to finish it, even though it felt like a different Rory McIlroy. It felt like Rory McIlroy could possibly Rory McIlroy at any given moment. Every single tee box, every single chip, even the short putt that he missed on 18. Oh no, here it is. This is going to be how it all ends for Rory. Instead, he steps on it in extra holes. He ends, this one. Oh no. Oh no. It's going to happen.
Yep.
Rory McIlroy is going to blow it again. Justin Rose just buried a massive putt. Justin Rose is hot going into overtime. Rory McIlroy's ice cold. Rory chips that thing to about 3 feet, cements himself as a Grand Slam champion with that shot right there, and I think we're all incredibly happy for him. We'll be talking to Solly of No Laying Up here in a matter of moments about how the golf world has responded to this, but whenever you see him react that way, it was very evident that about 1 billion pounds of pressure was lifted off of his shoulders. This guy was never going to be able to win the Masters, maybe never even win a big one again, and whenever he pulls it off in extra holes and everybody celebrates with him, it's a beautiful thing. Now, I will say, shout out to DeChambeau representing for most of the weekend. Now, not on Sunday, but through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, absolutely doing his thing. And let's go to our live golf super fan, Darius J. Butler. What were your thoughts on what happened on Sunday, and what are your thoughts on Rory McIlroy finally conquering a mountain that nobody thought he'd be able to conquer?
I mean, it was absolute cinema. You mentioned live. Everybody thought coming into it was going to be a battle between those two guys at the top, Rory and Bryson. Like you said, Bryson had a tough Sunday, but to see Rory and like the mental toughness he had, like not only Sunday, but throughout the whole tournament. I think he's the first Masters winner that had 4 double bogeys throughout the weekend, throughout the week in total. So that was incredible. Then obviously we talked about the missed putt on 18. For him to sit there and wait on the 18th hole for Justin Rose to get there and then have to play it all over and then get it done, like that second shot to put it for that tap in, that was incredible. So like the mental toughness, the bounce back. So it was just Rose, that long birdie putt he made on 18 to get him in the playoff. Patrick Reed made a run. Scotty had a decent. He almost got in there. So it was just absolute cinema the whole Sunday. The Masters kind of never. I'm pissed off. I haven't been watching this shit my whole life. This is only like my third. I think I saw Ron win it. I saw Scotty win it, and now seeing Rory. And you mentioned it, like the emotions. You know, I'm not the biggest Rory guy, especially once Liv came how he was, but he's kind of got back, I guess, a little more in my good graces. But just see the emotions, the weight lifted off him enjoying it with his friends, with his family, and just kind of the whole sports world coming together and kind of just congratulating him, patting on the back to get this career Grand Slam, which is he's like the sixth golfer ever, right, to get on this list. So just absolutely incredible stuff from the Masters and obviously for Rory.
That's where he was supposed to be, you know, on the list of 6 greatest golfers of all time, especially, you know, in Tone, you might know a little better than me, but it feels like Rory was supposed to be a guy that he couldn't keep up, you know, and then Spieth was supposed to be a guy and then couldn't keep up with the pace. Brooks was going to be the guy, but then Brooks only really started caring only about majors, and, you know, then he disappears over to Live, taking a couple $100 million. You do what you got to do. Rombo was supposed to be the guy, same situation. Tiger was really the guy for so long. Everybody was trying to see who was next, who was next, who was next. Then the original Rory Nike commercials were like him as a kid, practicing the fist pumps as if he wanted to be Tiger. Coming out of Northern Ireland, this is going to be a lad of the lads. He's going to be the one. And for him to finally get on this list that I assume he has thought about on a very regular basis, him walking through the champions locker room after getting the win and just, you know, kind of eyeballing all the different winners. And I assume there's a lot of golfers on there that he thinks are crop golfers that have won the Masters, or like snuck, and by crop, you know what I mean, in comparison to what Rory is. But finally his name is etched where it's supposed to be as a Grand Slam champion. Obviously going to be one of the GOATs no matter what, but him being able to say that he won the Masters, and then he finally got this this orangutan off of his back, Tone. Felt good for Rory. What were the odds on him all weekend? And how many people you think hammered Rory McIlroy to fail yesterday like he had done so many times in the past?
The odds, Scotty was the favorite and Rory was the second odds-on favorite to win this tournament. Now, after the opening round, Rory and Scotty were basically the same. Rory, I believe, was minus 220 coming into Sunday to win that one with the lead that he had. So the odds makers believed he could get it done, but I assume there were a lot of people sprinkling bets on other guys to get this done because of Rory's history in the last 10 years. And like you said, after Tiger, Rory was supposed to be Tiger. Now that's it's incredibly impossible to live up to, but for the beginning of his career, he did. Like those first 4 majors, he was so young. I looked it up yesterday. So Tiger in the early 2000s, there was only one other guy that was ranked number 1 in the world during that time, and it was Vijay Singh. And then in the 2010s, after Tiger, Rory led the most weeks at number 1, so he was the guy after Tiger. But you know, after those first 4 majors, and he had the Rory video game after Tiger had the video game. There's only 2 guys that have done that, so he did have the torch. But then you talked about it, where he just had all these second place finishes and heartbreak at all these majors, especially the Masters, and all those other guys up there on the list that have won the Grand Slam. No other guy took more than 3 times at an event to finally get the Grand Slam. It took Rory 11 times. So just like all that heartbreak and all that waiting over years and years and years, and you talked about the wait, it just kept getting more and more and after. But so to finally see it get done yesterday it was really cool to see.
Scary when he bogeys.
Oh my God!
I mean. I was so worried for him. I'm like, oh no,
How about when he saw his daughter and his wife, Pat, after they're standing there ready to celebrate, hey, we just won the Masters, and he has to go hit another, he knows he's going to a playoff hole, and he's like, oh, hey,
how about
just
this
a quick
one right
little
here?
quick little hug and kiss here.
How about this one right here? I mean, this is, a 1.5 feet? I mean, that would feel like 45. Yeah, let's focus in here, Rory. He gave a little speech to himself. Because there was somebody earlier in the week that missed the cut, I believe, from missing a 2-foot tap in that kind of powered it through. Oh. So him being able to regather himself to get to the playoff hole, to do this, Ty Schmidt, to do this right in front of Justin Rose. Justin Rose hit a great shot in. I mean, that was a great shot in. Yeah. Both of them had stupendous drives as well. That's a tight gallery there on that particular hole. I mean, it is long and tight in there, and both of them hit magnetic draws. A little fade there. And then for him to be able to put it home and win, good for Rory, just to make himself go through a little Rory McIlroy one last time, Ty.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you talk about the mental toughness, like that. He said, I think he had 2 yards fewer than his shot on 18, and like trying not to replay that in your head, like, hey, on 18 initially, all he had to do was hit it on the green. You hit it on the green, and you two putt from there, and he wins. And inexplicably, he goes into the bunker, and then it's like, okay, here we go again. And then for him to stick it in there that close, and then on top of it, it's so cool to watch him, because everyone knows about Rory's talent, obviously, if you've been watching golf for a long time. But over the last several years with the PGA and Live stuff, whether he wanted it or not, the PGA kind of like almost made him like a figurehead and a politician. It's like, hey, we need you to kind of be the torchbearer. And, I think that kind of turned a lot of people away from Rory, and it kind of, it made people want to. But it's just like the roller coaster that he takes you on and around. Like there are so few guys left like that anymore. And to win this year, when he arguably did it against, maybe the toughest field in like the history of the Masters. Like these guys are just getting better and better. And for him, to have the mental toughness because he could have just absolutely crumbled, especially the way
multiple times he could have packed it inside.
And then when Justin Rose played the way he did down the stretch, it's like this guy's got all the momentum, and then for Rory to stick it in there from 2 feet on the first playoff hole, it was incredible.
Yeah, I thank Augusta and the Masters for just providing something it feels like the whole world watches, but is impossible to find. They'll be golfing. I'll see some highlights on social media of something happening, and it's like, well, where's this at? Oh, it's on Paramount Plus. It's on on ESPN Plus. It is. Where the hell is this thing? And then even on Sunday, it didn't even start until like 2:00 or something.
Yeah.
But a lot of these channels do interesting little moves, like the Golf Channel or even ESPN. They'll show like other Masters stuff, and they'll keep the sound in the background as if it is the Masters, so they can kind of steal kind of your view. And then when you look up, it's like, well, we're not on this isn't the Masters. Where's the Masters? And then you start scanning through, and it's like, well, it's not on TV until 3:00. Where am I supposed to go to? Well, you got to download the Paramount Plus. What is it? The Masters app? Does my TV do that? I don't. Maybe my TV isn't as smart as everybody else's TV. It was hard to find for a little bit, but boy, whenever that thing came on, it was must watch. Thank you to the golfers for the electrifying weekend, and thank you to Augusta for the whole no cell phone thing still being a thing. That's so cool to see. It's like you're watching like a documentary on something that happened 100 years ago. Whenever you see that crowd, that big crowd was huge. Gigantic crowds. Weather was beautiful. Remember, in years past, there'd been some rain, maybe that scared some people away. Feels like the weather was perfect down in Augusta, Georgia all weekend, so the crowds were gigantic. Not a single cell phone in the sky. Everybody taking it in. Celebrities acting just as everybody else as regular ass patrons. It's like, look at that in the background. It feels like you're watching something from the 1920s, the 1910s, and everybody just clapping and enjoying the moment. And obviously it was Rory's moment, but I think we should get down there someday to the Masters.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how. Did you buy your way into that, or how's that work?
You don't think we can broadcast down there? Maybe pick up a Thursday, Friday round?
Chance.